Here's what happened in the Mondstadt Archon quests. We get stopped by God, get our siblings stolen, and our power sealed away. We get stuck in this world and wake up on the beach and fish out a fairy. On our quest to find our sibling, we seek out the nation of the god of wind and get gifted the power of Anemo by the Statue of the Seven. Then we see a giant dragon and a bard in the forest, but we scare him off by accident. And so then we decide to take a dangerous glowing red gem. We meet Amber, she leads us to the city and explains storm terror is causing issues in Mondstadt. We get a wind glider and immediately a crazy storm comes in and launches us into the air. Well, thank God we have this wind glider. We use a wind machine gun on the dragon until he flies away. Then we meet mischievous Kaya, who is very sus of us. We learn that the Grandmaster of the Knights is gone, the ley lines are messed up because of storm terror, and he used to be a part of the Four Winds. Then we fight through a temple with Amber, then Kaya, who questions our elemental abilities, then shoos us off immediately. We, the viewer, then see an Abyss Mage confront Kaya, and in a swarm of red, we see Diluc take it out, being angsty against the Knights, of course. Then Lisa flirts with us at the next temple and explains the Vision's harness, elemental powers. Then she talks about the Dragon of the East, aka Dvalin, aka Storm Terror, and that hatred drove him into Storm Terror. We're back to Mondstadt. The Fatui are threatening Jean. They want to kill Dvalin. The Fatui are aggressive diplomats from Snezhnaya. The red gem hurts Lisa, and she says it's because of her vision. It doesn't have any effect on us, though. We then gain the title of Honorary Knight after being here for a total of 5 seconds. We spot the guy talking to the dragon in Mondstadt and chase him down. It turns out he's a bard and he's playing music. From the song, we learned Dvalin heard the Holy Lyre and fought a bad dragon. Dvalin became poisoned and woke up to no lyre and then thinks Mondstadt hates him. Venti then says, "We meet again," for some reason. We show him the red gem. It's actually a teardrop crystal and it has now been purified. We purify another. Venti explains Dvalin's rage could be the end of him and says he has a plan and then dips. We find him and ask him about Barbados. He tells us the animal god disappeared long ago. He mentioned Liyue and Inazuma's gods are present, but nothing of the other nations. And the people of Mondstadt are very upset by his absence. Venti explains Dvalin is not hurting from lack of faith, it's from the black blood, which is corruption from the abyss. Now he says we have to go steal the Holy Lyre to heal Dvalin. We head to the church and Venti tells a nun that he is Barbados and needs the lyre, and she does not give a fuck. We go all sneaky to steal it, and right when we get there, a purple mage swipes it, but then we're the ones who get chased. We escape through wind currents provided by Venti to a tavern, the Master Diluc Tavern. Diluc gives the knights wrong directions to cover for us. Diluc accuses us of stealing, which Venti was trying to take a bottle behind the bar, because he heard about us and the lyre, and then he shits on the knights and calls them weak to the Fatui. Venti yaps about Dvalin, and Diluc says he'll get his people to meet our people later. Bro then brings Jean after he was just shitting on the knights. An awkward exchange of her calling him sir after he asks why she's not sus of us happens, and it makes it very uncomfortable for everyone. Then it's all Fatui this, Fatui that. Jean says the beef between Fatui and Mondstadt is about the 7 nations and their gods. The Fatui want the animal god's power. Venti thinks they're going to use a lyre to draw out Barbados. Apparently, Diluc beat up one of the Fatui and the lyre isn't where they said it was, and we go to investigate their hideout. We beat up a lot of guards, and one tells us the 8th Harbinger Signora is already in Mondstadt and is after us. We find the key, grab the lyre, a Fatui threatens Signora's wrath, blah blah blah. We bring the lyre to Venti. He says it's all out of power. The teardrop crystals replenish the power, but it's not enough, so we need to hunt more down. Venti gains the nickname of Tone Deaf Bard. Diluc speaks of a temple where a thief stole a vial of animal god's breath, and the Fatui are after it, and so Diluc is buying all the fakes that are out there. We go fight a ruin guard and obtain a teardrop. We do another domain for another teardrop. Jean said the Fatui declared Diluc persona non grata, aka a person who is no longer favored or welcome. Jean explains that the Fatui are a threat to Mondstadt, and of course, Diluc would do anything to protect Mondstadt. And then he calls them diplomatic scum. And then my favorite quote, "If I were to choose between eating a cryo-slime alive or joining the Fatui, I'd prefer to be crushed to death by a meteorite." I love the drama. Then we're off to Dawn Winery. We purify the crystals and restore the lyre, then head to Star Snatch Cliff. Venti begins to play, and it summons Storm Terror, aka Dvalin. Then Bro talks, which I completely forgot about until my second playthrough. Dvalin strikes Venti, and an Abyss Mage comes to corrupt Dvalin's thoughts, telling him that Barbados abandoned him. The mage says Venti was planning to have him slain, referring to Jean and Diluc, so Dvalin storms off. Diluc says he will consult his contacts about the mage. Then it cuts to seeing our sibling watching Dvalin with 3 Abyss Mages who call her Your Highness. The mage says to Lumine, "When your homeland returns to this world, we shall revel in its glory." We head back to Dawn Winery to hear Diluc's info on the Abyss Order. Paimon asks Venti why he needs human help if he's a god. Venti then infodumps about the Archons, saying that the Archons gain power by ruling their nation, but Venti doesn't like ruling Mondstadt. And he's been away for so long that he's the weakest among the 7. We track down and fight the Abyss Mage. We learn the ancient ruins were taken as Dvalin's lair, and that we need to break the barrier. The curse on Dvalin and the issues with the teardrops are the same, so we can cleanse Dvalin. Monsters attack when Venti goes to break the storm barrier, but a strum of his lyre and it all clears. Then we climb the tower and learn the ruins are from before the 4 winds. And then we undo some ancient seals, no big deal. Venti then mentions the legend of Vanessa. He talks about Mondstadt's freedom and its importance. He said he gave us energy to fight Dvalin last time, which we kind of knew because it was obvious. Then it's machine gun time again on Dvalin's back. As we fight, all of the platforms are starting to collapse and everyone falls down. But don't worry, Dvalin saves them all and we start flying back to Mondstadt. Venti tells Dvalin that he doesn't have to listen to him and gives Dvalin the Animo Archon power. Jean explains that Storm Terror is Dvalin to the people of Mondstadt so they can understand what happened. While we were gone, the Abyss monsters attacked Mondstadt. We talked to practically everyone in the city, and most are glad Dvalin wasn't slain, whether they forgive him or not. Then we run into sarcastic Kaya, who is pondering about the Abyss Order and says he saw shadows lurking in the city while we were away. He found out the Abyss Order is united under a single leader, the Princess. Then Kaya runs from Amber because he was supposed to be fighting monsters outside the city, but instead he was talking to us. Paimon tells Amber we plan to go through the 7 nations to find clues on our sibling. Then we go back to the church to get back the lyre, and it's broken and Barbara almost has a stroke, but Venti fixes it temporarily. Then when he runs out, the Fatui attack and we meet Signora, and she slaps the fuck out of him, but Venti is sitting there very smug. She then rips out his Gnosis and kicks him. They knock us out and leave. Barbara healed us, but it didn't work on Venti, and she said he left to go to the big tree of Mondstadt's hero. We meet him there, and Venti reiterates that visions channel elemental power, and vision holders can ascend to Celestia, and the Gnosis resonates with Celestia itself. He says the Harbingers have been given godlike authority by the Tsaritsa of Snezhnaya. He said he knew her well 500 years ago, but after catastrophe, she cut ties with him. Venti says we need to catch the Geo Archon with Rite of Descension right around the corner. Venti says that the journey has meaning, and he also says he's never heard of the Abyss Princess. And then Venti offered for us to become one of the new 4 winds after we find our sibling. And we are off to Liyue.